This is the Intex Ultra XTR Frame 24x12x52 above ground swimming pool, and it turns hot afternoons into real swim time, not just splash time. I get a full lane to move, room for the kids to float and play, and space left over to actually relax. I think of this as a backyard family pool for people who want the experience of real swimming without committing to digging up the yard. It is best for anyone with a reasonably flat space who is willing to spend a day prepping the ground and wants a rectangular shape that works for both fitness and hanging out. I moved to this after a smaller round pool felt cramped, and the difference is immediate. It feels like a destination, not a temporary fix. Design matters here. The rectangular footprint is the reason I picked it. It makes actual laps possible and gives that resort vibe instead of a kiddie pool look. The outside is a dark graphite gray that blends with a deck or patio, and the inside has a blue tile print that hides little scuffs and looks clean on camera and in person. The steel frame pieces feel light when you carry them, but once everything is locked together, the walls do not flex in a way that makes you nervous. The liner is a 3-ply material with a polyester core coated in polyvinyl chloride, and it has a little give underfoot without feeling flimsy. I lean on the sides when I am chatting, and there is no creak or wobble. The included ladder is tall enough for adults, easy to move when I want to vacuum, and does not pinch bare feet. The cover snaps down tight and really does keep leaves and bugs out overnight. The sun canopy that clips to the frame sounds like a gimmick until you sit under it at noon. It is waterproof, has real shade, and the fabric has a high sun protection rating, so I can spend more time in the water without roasting. Setup was the part I stressed about, and it is where most of the work lives. This pool wants a flat, firm base. I spent an entire day clearing the spot, raking stones out, and leveling with a long board and a level. I finished with a layer of sand to even everything out and tamped it down until it felt solid. I checked the slope in several directions and was off by roughly half an inch at one corner. That ended up being fine. The ground cloth that comes in the box gives a bit of extra insurance, but the real trick is taking time to get the base right. The frame assembly is much easier than it looks. The beams slide and click together with a push-button system. No tools for the main frame, just patience and a second pair of hands helps a lot. After the frame stands, I clipped the liner in, smoothed out wrinkles by walking them toward the walls as the water climbed, and connected the hoses to the sand filter pump. Filling took hours from a garden hose, and I used that time to double-check for any small drips at the fittings and tweak the liner as it settled. The box says ready for water in about an hour. If you include ground prep and filling, plan on half a day to a full day. That extra time pays you back all summer. Once it is full, the experience is straightforward. The sand filter pump that ships with this set is the best part of the bundle. I've used cartridge filters before, and they are fussy. With sand, I backwash when the pressure creeps up, and the water clears up fast after a heavy swim day. The rated flow is over 2,000 gallons per hour, and with a pool this size holding a little over 8,400 gallons near the top line, that matters. The return jets have hydro aeration built in, which just means they pull a bit of air with the water and create a finer mix that helps debris clump and makes the water look and feel fresher. I notice it most on sunny afternoons when the surface sparkles instead of looking flat. In terms of performance, structure is what I watch. The rectangular frame stays square even when 4 or 5 people climb in at once. Corners do not sag. The top rails do not twist when I rest my arms on them. After a full season, I do not see rust on the inside or outside of the steel, and I can tell the coating is doing its job. The liner held strong. I am careful about sharp toys and I brush the sides once a week, and I do not see thinning or stretch marks. The depth is just over 4 feet of water when filled to the line, which is a sweet spot for families. I can stand and talk without treading water, but it is deep enough to do small jumps and play without scraping knees. The pump hums at a steady tone that fades into the background. I can have a conversation next to it without raising my voice. At night, I close the cover, and I lose much less heat and fewer leaves, which means fewer morning cleanups. I tested it like I would use it. Early mornings, I swim slow laps down the long side and back for 10 or 15 minutes before work. The rectangular shape makes breathing and turning predictable. Weekend afternoons, there are 6 of us in there with floats and a soft hoop, and there is still space to move without elbowing anyone. On windy days, I watch how the cover seats down and whether it blows free. It stays put as long as I cinch it tight. After a storm, I run the pump and backwash. By the next day, the water is clear enough to see the floor drain covers. On a blazing day, I roll out the canopy and park a chair at the edge with my feet in. The shade covers a good chunk of the near side, and it is a nice break without leaving the water. At night, the frame does not creak or pop as the temperature drops. It just sits there solid. A specific use case that sold me on the rectangle was backyard workout sessions. I set a pace with a simple waterproof timer, swim a length, do a short rest while standing, then swim back. I get a real workout without driving to a gym. For family time, we throw in a floating basketball net and play half court. The walls handle the lean and the splashes without complaint. When younger kids are in the water, I stay in or right at the edge. There is no shallow end, so supervision matters. There are smart touches that improve the experience. The easy lock frame connectors save time and keep frustration low. I did not fight with bolts or guess at torque. The sand filter being part of the set means I did not have to track down compatible hoses and adapters. Hydro Aeration on the return jets adds a small but noticeable improvement in water clarity and helps move surface bubbles to the skimmer. The canopy is simple to attach and remove, so I only use it when I need shade. The ladder pulls out when I want to close off access, which is helpful if I have kids running around and I am not ready for swim time. The included ground cloth and cover are not flashy, but they reduce wear on the liner and keep daily maintenance manageable. It is not all perfect. Ground prep is real work, and there is no way around it. If the space is not flat, this pool will tell on you fast. Plan time, borrow a tamper, and do it right. The fill takes patience, so clearing your schedule helps. The ladder is sturdy enough, but I can feel a little flex at the top step if I climb fast. The cover is great for overnight, but it is not a winter cover. If you live where it freezes, plan to winterize and store the liner and parts. The canopy gives solid shade when the sun is high, but in late afternoon when the sun is low, the shade moves off the water quickly. The pump hoses are stiff on a cool morning, so warming them in the sun for a bit before attaching makes the job easier. None of these are deal breakers for me, just part of living with a big above-ground pool. A quick note on maintenance. I test and balance the water regularly so it stays safe and comfortable. I brush the walls, vacuum the floor, and empty the skimmer basket once a week. Backwashing the sand filter is easy and only takes a few minutes. I also check local rules. My area requires a simple barrier and a lock, and I looked at homeowners association guidelines before setting anything up. It is worth a phone call to avoid headaches. What I like most is how it changes how I use the backyard. It is big enough that I do not think about how to position everyone. People spread out naturally. I can host friends, let the kids burn energy, and still get my own swim in. It looks good, it feels stable, and after a season of use, it has not asked for more than normal care. I do not baby it, but I also respect it. I keep the base clean, I watch the water level, and I stay on top of the routine. It pays me back every time I step in. If you want real swim space, prefer a rectangle, and are willing to commit a day to prep and setup, this is a strong choice. It suits families, anyone who likes to do casual fitness at home, and homeowners who want a serious pool experience without pouring concrete. If your yard is very sloped, or if you want a shallow end for very young kids to stand safely, you may want to look at different options. For me, it hits the right balance of size, stability, and ease of care. It feels permanent while still giving the option to take it down for winter or move it if life changes. I have been using it long enough to trust it. The frame holds, the liner holds, the pump keeps the water clear, and the rectangular layout makes every swim feel purposeful. I went in a bit nervous about the scale, and that faded once I saw how manageable it is day to day. If you are on the fence, think about your space, plan the base, and line up a friend to help with assembly. Once it is up, it becomes the place everyone wants to be. If you found this video helpful, subscribe for more real-world reviews and drop your questions or your own tips in the comments. Thank you for watching.